Hello everyone, welcome back to Math for French Cars. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be replacing our rear brake discs for this Peugeot 407. We're also going to be replacing our brake pads, and we're going to try to give a fresh look with painting calipers and the shield behind a brake disc to give it that nice new look, and hopefully it looks amazing. Right, so the first thing to do is you're not gonna need to pull the handbrake today because we're gonna be lifting the back of a car. I'm doing both sides at the same time because the paint on a caliper is gonna take a little while to dry. So I'm gonna be lifting both sides, and while one side is drying a little bit, I will be spraying and doing another side. However, so for safety reasons, put your car in a reverse or first gear on a flat surface. And what you want to do is you want to put some bricks or something in front and the back of your wheels, just to make sure the car doesn't roll backwards or forwards and is safe to do this job. Next, we're going to discuss the things we're going to need. So I'm doing both sides, and you're probably going to be doing both sides. So you're going to need some jack, you're going to need some axle stands to support the car once the wheels of the back is off. What we have here is we have a brand new brake discs, brand new brake disc pads. We have red straight direct to rust metal paint. We have some metal paint with rust protection, which is black, for my shield surrounding brake disc. We have some brake cleaner. Once the job is done, the new brake discs ideally should be sprayed with brake cleaner and wiped with something not greasy but nice and clean, like this kitchen towel, for example. When I'm gonna be painting our calipers, I'm gonna be covering everything around which doesn't need painting with just some cheap black bags and a bit of, duct tape. If you need an additional light for the job, you can get yourself some torch. I have a little bit of brake fluid in here just in case. I have of little tire shine and a little cloth because I want to shine my tires for the final finish. You're gonna need for the actual job this little brake piston, caliper piston wind tool, which because in a Peugeot 407 the front caliper pistons you can just push them in, but the rear ones you have to wind them in, so you have to twist them, turn them while you're pushing them in. Then you're gonna need a little tool you all have in a boot for your nut cover removal. You're gonna need some 13mm spanner and 15mm spanner to undo your caliper from your carrier. You're gonna need, what's this, T55 if you decide to take carrier of a caliper off to give a better spray, better coverage. And this is a T30 which we're gonna be using for brake discs because they have two little screws with a Torx T30 little screws in them, which needs to be done in order to take a brake disc off. We also have a 10mm here head for a shield if we decide to take it off and respray the both sides of the shield. We have 10mm here as well, bigger one in case we need more power, more grip, but mainly is for these little heads to go into when we undo the brake disc, and when we do if we need to undo a brake caliper carrier. Also 17mm head for with pry bar for undoing your wheel nuts. And yeah, I think I mentioned pretty much everything you need for this job, so we're just gonna crack on, take them wheels off, put the car on the axle stands and see what we have. Right, my guys, so I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna try to film how I'm doing one side, and then once I'm done with both sides, I'm gonna show you both sides, but it's the same procedure on both sides. We're gonna make a video on one side, then you know what to do on the both. Right, so let me just go quickly and take off the wheel of the other side. Right, my guys, so as you can see, I've done the other side as well of my car. The front wheel is supported with the brakes. What I'm doing now, I'm literally opening my hood, and because we were gonna work on the brakes and pressing in, winding back in a brake calipers, what you want to do is you want to undo this little brake fluid tank reservoir. Just undo it and leave it undone. You can see the level here is quite good, so we might not need any additional extra whatever brake fluid in it. We can leave a hood open, it doesn't matter. I'll just leave it open like this because that's gonna help me to rewind them rear calipers back in, because in order to put a new brake pads we're gonna need to wind them back in all the way it goes. So some fluid is gonna go back to that little tank under the bonnet. Okay, my guys, so now we can see our brake disc. It's a bit scored, it's not as smooth as you would like it to be, makes a bit of sound when turned, but it's just what it looks like. I recently replaced the brake pad, which has still quite a lot of meat on it, literally grinding onto the not really even surface, and we can see from other side here is a bit scored and it doesn't really get all the surface it should, and that decreases your brake efficiency. So what you want to do now is you want to grab 13mm spanner, you want to get 15mm on here and undo these two bolts here. Right, my guys, 13mm on this side and 15mm on here to hold it in place, and just try to undo this. Okay, it's gonna be one of those, I guess, which doesn't want to get undone, so it's gonna be a bit of a pain in the ass, I guess. Well, that's where you come up sometimes with, so we might have to reinstall the new bolts once we've done with this job. I'm gonna still try to undo it. Nevertheless, you cannot give up. You just have to try different ways to do it. You have to try. Worst comes to worst, you know, use different tools. You can do it with fingers now. It's that easy. As you can see, the problem was the bolt. It's a bit shit, to be honest. So this is definitely not original bolt. Somebody just put this in here. Just gonna have to replace this one. And we're gonna do same in the bottom. 15 to hold it here in place, and 13 to undo it. Now your brake caliper is free to be moved to the side. Here we go. That's your brake caliper off. What you can do now, you can literally just remove these little old brake pads. So that's one. You can see still plenty of meat. Or you can see on how it was wearing, it wasn't wearing properly. And we're gonna take off the other one as well. I'm gonna move that caliper here a little bit, sit there for now. There we go, full off. So that's your over brake pad. So the old brake pad's out of the way. Now we have our brake disc, we have a caliper carrier ready to work on. Okay. Right, my guys, so what we're gonna be doing now, we're just gonna be removing this brake disc. So brake disc is held in place by these two T30 Torx screws, little bolts, you can say. There are more bolts than screws, to be fair. So we want to do, just want to undo them, and once you, I'm using T30, as you can see, Torx bit, literally just screw them out like this. You can see they just come off. It looks like that. In some occasions, if you use a wrong tool, you can damage the middle of this little Torx bolt. Then you might have to drill it out in order to be able to remove the brake disc. And normally these brake discs, because it looks like it's not been changed for a while, they're going to be probably cooked up to the bearing, to the hub. So what we're might have to do, I have to give it a little tap somewhere. And then it comes off. Well, it should come off. Right. There you go. Just a little tap. It takes a few taps. And your brake disc is off. And as you can see, that was the issue a little bit as well. Decreasing the, you know, quality of braking in the back and making all sorts of squingy sounds. It was this messed up disc, which is not worn equally, and it definitely decreased my braking efficiency. So what we have here now is just, we have a caliper carrier, we have our bearing, you can see your ABS sensor here as well sticking out, scanning this little magnetic thing here. And now you have a few options. You can either just leave it the way it is here and then skip this video and go on to the place where I'm installing a brand new brake disc on, or carry on watching it, see me giving a fresh look for this caliper carrier, this caliper, and this shield around here, because that's what I'm going to be doing now. I'm going to give it a good wire brush around here. Same with a caliper carrier, same with a caliper. These things you can remove it too. I hope you can see it. These little things you can remove it too. When you respray the caliper carrier, if you do that, it looks nice. If you make them shiny chrome, back to how they're supposed to look like. Also, there is another option you can do, is use a T55 Torx bit and literally undo the caliper carrier here. The bolts are in the back. One is here and one is a bit lower in here. If you undo those two bolts, you're going to be able to take the caliper carrier off, and what you can do, you can give it much more better respray. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to try to mask it up as much as I can and respray wherever I can access, and that should be more than enough, to be honest, because I think I can access most of the places from the way it sits now. So we're gonna just do that. So like I said, I'm using this barbed wire brush, and I decided not to take this shield off. I'm just gonna do this side, spray some rust protection on it just to make it look. I don't really care much about it, to be honest. If you do want to do 100% job, you can just undo these three 10mm bolts. This one here as well, and you can just literally remove the shield, or if you need to replace the shield, you can just do that as well. There's same procedure. And then these three 10mm bolts. What we're gonna do now, however, is we're just gonna give it a good wire brush everywhere that we can see when we're checking. It's very windy today, so I'm not going to stop. Right, my guys, I just gave it a good little quick brush, and what I can see now, my shield is actually quite good. As you can see here behind the disc, there is barely any rust. It might have been replaced, I'm not sure. So we're gonna treat this with direct on rust black paint all around here, all around the shield. Then a caliper looks like it's maybe been replaced. It looks like aluminum color. It does not seem to have any rust. Also, the good thing to check is also this rubber here. This rubber here going around your piston, sometimes it rips and then it messes up the piston. So it's good always when you are here to check, make sure there is no rips here and everything is nice and good. And then finally a caliper carrier, we just give it a good brush because we're gonna use direct on rust paint. Now we're just gonna tidy up with a bit of brake cleaner, because what it does, it just literally washes off all the dirt, so we can get rid of all them dusts. So I can just literally wash off with that, as you can see. It's gonna give me a nice, clean, dry, dust-free surface to paint. Right, we're gonna now mask it all up and start spraying it and giving it that fresh look. Is just literally take a bit of carton, put around that shield. I am gonna be spraying right next to the bearing. So I have this black paint, which is direct on rust, with a good rust protection. What I'm gonna be doing is just literally spraying it nice and black. And this paint is a quick drying as well, so that's gonna be great. And as you can see, as a straightaway much more better look, and once it's dry it'll look wicked. So while this is drying, I'm gonna just quickly go and do the other side. Right, my guys, so as you can see, what I've done here is spray black rust protection paint on my shield, and now I want to concentrate on my caliper carrier. So I'm going to give it a first coat of this direct to rust smooth red metal paint, and make sure, as you can see, I've done some amateur cover up, make sure my paint doesn't really go anywhere else. Even the caliper at the moment I just left on the side, I don't want it to get involved. It's very important thing to, if you paint caliper carrier, just to cover them little rubber things here and here with a bit of tape, and then you are good to go. So we're just gonna give a light coat now. A bit more than a light coat, it worked out, I guess. Nevertheless, now we're just gonna let it dry for at least 15-20 minutes while we're gonna go and do the other side, the same procedure, same thing. Alright guys, so what we're trying to do is like 15 minutes between the coats. So now we're gonna carry on with a second coat, make it better. I spray a little bit heavy, but I have time today to wait for it to dry. And when you spray the heavy, it's only gonna need like 3 coats and it should be beautiful. So now we're gonna go do other side. While waiting for your caliper carriers to dry, you can always take these little metal things we took out of our brake calipers carriers and just literally clean them up to make them look as much as possible back to the chrome. Haven't finished this one yet, but I started. I just used a little cloth and literally just spray a little bit of tire shine, wherever, anything goes, even like a little bit of wet wipe, just rub it in. Most of that dirt is gonna come off and it's gonna start to look a little bit like it used to be. Here is a little setup. This is while I'm waiting for my brake caliper carriers to dry. I'm still gonna need to give a couple of coats, probably maybe at least 1 coat. What I want to do here is I want to put this winding tool back in my piston in my rear wheel caliper, put this little plate here, back it up a little bit, make sure it sits nice and tight here and the plate is backing onto these bits of the caliper. And what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be winding it clockwise and pushing this piston back in its place. Ideally we want to push it as far as it goes, because we're gonna need a lot of space for the new brake pads on a new disc. Right, my guys, so now what happened here is I've just wind my piston in my caliper back as much as it goes. As you can see, should be around, I don't know, this is like 5mm out, the same out there as a rubber is. Then what you can do is you can undo this one a little bit. We're gonna use I think it's like 22, 24 maybe spanner, just to undo a bit to get it loose, so we could take a tool out and that'll be it. So just wanna move this one a little bit and that one falls off. Then you can pull out all your little setup here. You can just literally, I hope you can see, you can just literally come off. I got stuck a little bit. There we go. So as you can see now, guys, I wind my caliper back in a place. The piston is all the way back the way it should be before you install a new disc and new pads. And we're gonna give it a little spray onto a caliper now as well, and then we're gonna carry on. I'm just gonna go do exactly the same procedure on the other side and come back. So I've done something else now. So shield is sprayed, caliper carrier is drying on its third coat, and it looks nice. Main important thing, you want to make sure these bits looks really nice here, because that's the ones who's gonna pop and, you know, who's gonna be the front of it. So that is important. Now I have my caliper here. Piston is winded all the way back in to the place where it's supposed to be, so I can crack on and give it a little fresh paint on it as well. I have covered with some black bags all the places I don't want to paint. And what's happening here is I want to make sure that this bit is a bit hard to put here so that it stays here. I don't want it to be nowhere near the caliper carrier because that is still drying. So we're gonna just do like this, as long as these bits are freely, because you want to make sure it's nice paint here, also the sides, top, and other places which is going to be visible. As you can see, the caliper itself is not in a bad condition, so I don't want to spray on the little bits like this one. And also the actual piston, you want to cover it up, all the rubber and the piston, because you don't want to spray your paint onto the piston rubber. And yeah, so this is the position it's gonna stay on, and it's gonna dry on for a while now. So it's gonna be 3 fresh coats for caliper itself. As you can see here, the shield now is quick drying paint, so you can touch it, it's fine. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't go off or anything. It's already dry enough to stay there. Caliper paint is slightly different, so that is gonna take like a little bit of time. I would give it another hour and a half or 2 hours to dry ideally. So now we're gonna just give it a good spray for this piston caliper. Literally a bit of carton as well. Make sure the paint doesn't go on my shield around my wheel arch. And I'm just gonna start off with some, you know, small coat. Give it 15 minutes, then I'm gonna do a second coat. The main things I want to pop is these top and these little 2 teeth, which is gonna be facing the outer of the car. So that is the things I want to make sure it looks really nice the most. But if you have alloy wheels, which, you know, shows more of a actual caliper, then you might want to even take a caliper if you have time and just do a proper job. This is just a video on how I do a quick one, just to refresh the look of my caliper, and hopefully some of you will find it useful. Right, so that's good to dry for 15 minutes or so. Well, I'm gonna go and do the other side as well. We're gonna do a second layer of paint on this caliper. Because I'm not taking a caliper off, that's why the job is, it can be a bit of a pain in the ass, but nevertheless it has to be done. That's what I want to do before I put my new brake discs and my brake pads. I want it to look nice. 15 minutes later, once again, final little just spray on top, just to give that finish. And that'll be it. Now I'm gonna be leaving it to stay here like that for another 2 hours, I believe, and then we're gonna be putting everything back together. So nearly 2 hours later, our calipers and carriers are nearly dry. It's time to prepare your brake discs for installing on your wheel hubs. So we have a new brake discs here, and it's all nice and beautiful and everything is fine. Just one last thing you want to do here is literally, if you can see, take a bit of paper and take a bit of brake cleaner and just clean them off. Make sure there is no rubbish on them, no grease, no nothing. That's one thing you would like to do, really, ideally. Good thing to do on the new brake discs. Beautiful. My brake cleaner is running out. I don't have much left, but should be enough to do these two discs. Just want to make sure they are not greasy or anything. As you can see, there's some sort of dirt on them, so as long as I get rid of that, I'm happy. Make sure your hands are nice and clean as well, not greasy or anything. See, something is there, and there might be something, little something, which is there to protect them from being to rust or something. I'm not sure, but it's always a good idea to wash them with a brake cleaner before you put them on. So nice, shiny, beautiful, and ready to go. Right, so with brake discs being ready, now we're gonna go and prepare ourselves. I'm gonna need to remove all this rubbish from here, all these protections from when I was spraying caliper and carrier with our paint. So paint has been here drying now for about a couple of hours. Quite happy with results. As you can see, the caliper is gonna look from here. It looks nice, carrier looks nice. So I'm just gonna tidy up this place down a bit and see what's gonna happen here. Right, so now I've removed all the black bag and everything from here, so you could see the shield final result kind of thing, and carrier and caliper. So the first thing you want to install is these low chromes. The chromes has to go this way, so as you can see from here, maybe better angle, low chromes, and we're gonna have to go like this onto the carrier, and the same for the one on the top here. There we go. Right, my guys, so the next thing you want to do is you want to install that brake disc onto your hub. I'm just hoping that this is a correct disc. And it looks like everything is fine. Match up the holes and then use the same T30 Torx bit to do up 2 Torx bolts. There's 2 of them. Nice and tight. Right, so as you can see now, your new brake disc is back on. It already started to look much better. We're just going to be installing a new pads and the freshly painted caliper on, and that will be pretty much job done. Right, so to install the brake pads, you got your pads looking like this. You just have to slide them in here. nicely, and that's it. As soon as it looks like this, your brake pads are in the correct place, looking all nice. Just gonna try to do this side now. Oop. Looks like that is how your brake pads should be looking next to your new brake disc. So now we need to find them two 13mm bolts, which goes into here in these places, one here and one, as you know, on the top here. And now we're going to be sliding a caliper on your new brake pads. Most important thing, you have rewinded your piston all the way down as far as it goes, then you shouldn't have any problem on sliding a caliper onto new brake pads and a disc. So you're preparing your bolts because you want to tighten up as soon as it's done. You're preparing your 15mm spanner and your 13mm one to tie up the bolts, you know, to hold them in place and to tie it up. Right, let's crack on. So now I'm just going to take my caliper. I'm just going to move it to the place where it's supposed to be, and it slides on with no bigger problem. It slides onto the right position where it's supposed to be. So what I want to do now is want to tie up one of the bolts for a start, tiny bit, just to catch it in the right place, as then I can move with a bit of a force. I can move the bottom of my caliper and try to match up the other little guy right here. It doesn't really want to match up easy. Yeah, I think we got it. Paint is not totally dry yet. That's why I'm trying not to touch this bit, which is pretty much dry, but it's not 100% dry yet, as I don't want my hands to be all painted and I don't want my job to look rubbish. So once I've done, I'm gonna leave the car for a couple more hours so that it could dry a little bit better. But as you can see here already, it's much better look from what it was before, and I hope you are happy with this video and find it useful, and please subscribe my channel. Right, my guys, so now we're just going to be tightening up these bolts here. Mm-hmm. 15 and 13. Okay, I seem to be tired today because I'm not getting it right sometimes. Nevertheless, tie up one a little bit, not too much, then go to the bottom one, tie that one up a little bit, make sure that goes nicely in place. Tighten it up, and then I hope you can see top one. Make sure it's proper tight. Now let's have a good look. I see this low pipe, brake fluid pipe, just popped out of the place. If it happened to you, just stick it back in. Not a big issue. Everything looks alright, everything looks good. It looks like the job has been successful. It's definitely gonna give much more better appearance, and hopefully the brake efficiency gonna be much more better. Once you do brake discs and pads, you can expect a little bit of sponginess for first, I don't know, 20-30 miles, whatever, depends, for first couple of days probably, but then after that you should feel much more bigger improvement. Right, my guys, so as you can see, I've done now one side. It looks nice. I'll show you as well once the wheel is back on. And then I made a huge mess all around here. Nevertheless, that's the Caliper shock absorbers for the next video probably. And this is the other side done. So once the both sides are done, oh, okay, little thing here, need to squeeze back in as well. I don't know, these come out probably because I moved the caliper so much. Anyway, nevertheless, as you can see, it looks really nice, fresh and beautiful. What you can do now is you go back to your under your bonnet where the little brake fluid expansion tank is, and now you can see, I don't know if you can see, but I hope you can see, the fluid is up to here and the max is here, so increased by like about, I would say probably 6-7 millimeters, because we pressed the pistons. It just went up a little bit in the fluid, so we're not going to need to top it up because it's nearly the max of what is supposed to be in it. Just make sure you do this lid up properly. And now we're going to be only putting our wheels back on and letting the car back on its feet, and that'll be your job done. Okay, so let's put them wheels back on. And now the job has been done, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it looks nice and presentable for you. Please comment. I hope you guys gonna watch this video, improve the way I've done it, and make it even better job.